We wanted to create a fun, non-judgmental space where women can talk about their shared experiences.
Here, we will normalize the challenges we face as females living in a society that dictates unrealistic and outdated expectations on what a woman should be.
Together, we hope to cultivate a supportive community of women who empower one another to courageously live unapologetically.
A quick disclaimer before we get started. Although Cindy and Danielle are licensed therapists, this podcast is not to be interpreted as therapy or a replacement of therapeutic services. It is strictly a conversation between two women about their experiences in the world. If you liked today's episode, please make sure to like and subscribe below. Also, follow us on all of our social media platforms at Unapologetically Females. With that being said, we hope you enjoy this episode.
Welcome back to another episode. We are excited to be here. I'm super excited for this episode because you went and did something that you didn't tell me you were going to do. No, I'm just kidding.
I really didn't tell you.
No, I had no idea. I learned about it via Instagram post, I believe, for the first time. And then was immediately jealous. Didn't know anything about it. Don't even know, still know nothing about it.
Yeah.
I just saw the background. And I was like, ooh, I want to be there.
Yeah. Yes.
So I am so eager to hear about it, learn what you got to experience and what you took away from it. And
Yeah. So I went to a manifestations summit is what they called it. And it was hosted by Mind Valley. And
where was it at?
It was in LA, downtown LA.
Okay.
And actually, Christine, who we've interviewed on the podcast, she brought it to my attention. She and I have really delved into the idea of energy and how energy just can really change. Our energy can change our entire life, really,
sure.
But definitely our day to day. You know, waking up with gratitude instead of waking up with like the doldrums, like, oh, I got to go to work type of thing. And so really what this summit was about was figuring out how to use that energy in your life towards what you want or what you wish for or what your goals are. And so there were some amazing speakers, so that we're not sponsored by Mind Valley. We're not, although if they wanted to sponsor us, that would be great.
We are
but
open
we are
to
open
any
to that.
and all sponsors. We'll talk to anyone.
We will. But I just need to put that out there. But Vishen and Reagan are the two like starters of Mind Valley. And Mind Valley is kind of like, there's other companies like this too, where they you can go online and you can join, and then they'll send out like great meditations and different lessons and stuff like that. So this summit was Dr. Joe Dispenza was one of the reasons that Christine and I really wanted to go, because he is he's a scientist and he researches like the chemistry of the brain and the neuroplasticity of the brain and like the connections of how our brain is wired and how we can actually change that wiring and heal ourselves physically.
Sure.
He was in a horrible accident and had this terrible back injury and was basically laid up. And this is how he kind of discovered that, was he healed himself with his thoughts. And some of this sounds like a little like woo-woo or whatever, but when you look into his research and when you, he does kind of like the Amen clinics, like the brain scans and things like that, and the different areas of the brain that light up with our different thoughts and places in our body that heal. So there's scans and scientific evidence that this is true, that we can heal our body with our thoughts. I mean, and it makes sense, because if we can become sick from stress and negative thoughts and negative self-talk, why can we not become well with positive thoughts and positive self-talk?
Did he have any medical intervention?
I don't remember. So
I mean, I love all that. I'm definitely a huge believer in everything being energy, right? Like I think our words have energy. I think everything, our thoughts are all of it, how we operate in this world. And so it's just a bunch of energy exchanges.
And think about it like mirror neurons, right? If you're walking past someone and you smile, 9 times out of 10, they're going to smile back, right? And those are
unless
our mirror
you're
neurons.
in a state that
unless,
you know,
yeah, I mean, unless
you're
you're
back east. I'm just kidding. I'm just
a state, not a mind state, but a state.
That too.
Yeah.
People.
If you're in New York, okay, 8 times out of 10.
That's so much energy to be giving out to others. No, it's true.
But and that's just mirror neurons. So it's like somebody smiled at me, I'm going to smile back. That's energy, right? That's like positive energy. Sending back and forth positive energy. So during this summit, we did some awesome meditations. We had these great speakers. I'm going to read it to you guys because I think that it's important that I represent it correctly. So Vishen, Gwyneth Paltrow, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Roxy Nafusi, David Guillaume, Reagan Hillier, John Lee, who was awesome. He did like wealth and money and
like management. Okay.
But also like how to use your energy to increase your wealth and just a lot of out of the box thinking when it comes to financial,
like mindset stuff.
Mindset, yes. And then he has a book. John Lee, you can look him up. He is a wealth expert. And just kind of teaching how to build your wealth while also chasing your goals and making it into something even bigger than what you thought. For instance, he said, I want you to think of a number of the amount of money that you want to make in this year, right? And then write it down. And then I want you to fold up that piece of paper and I want you to put it into your purse or your wallet or your pocket. He said, when you find that in a year, I want you to see if you actually made that amount of money. He said, it happens. Like when you have that number in your head and when that is your goal set, and even if it sounds ridiculous to other people, there is a good chance that you will get at least close to that number, if not that number. So it's that same idea of energy and manifesting what it is that you desire, and that's the other thing that I really liked about this is that nothing was too big, right? Like I think that when we're little, people hold on really quick. Sonia Choquette and Lee Holden. So Lee Holden is like a chi energy chi type, so like tapping and different exercises that you can do. And I really enjoyed that too. But
these were all the speakers.
These were all the speakers that were there. Yes. Wow. Gwyneth Paltrow was a last minute add-on, and she's really the reason that I wanted to talk about this today, because all of these other people work together and they work with energy and they, they'll have kind of
they come from that background.
They come from that background and education, and this is what they do for a living. She was there and she was talking about Goop, her company. And she was talking about how just super real, super down to earth, just the way that she holds herself, her mannerism, her tone. She's so humble, and she's, made this amazing life for herself and is a believer in energy and putting things out there and manifestation in that way. But even more so, she was such a powerhouse for supporting females. And at one point she said, go out and be female unapologetically. And I was like, yes, yes. And I'm like,
Gwyneth, if you'd like to come on the pod,
please, we'd love to have you. Yes. But she was so inspirational, especially to the women in the audience, and which like 70% of the audience was women. But yeah, it was such an awesome experience. Just there was different ways of moving our body and waking up our body, and with the qigong, and then also just like going back to being a kid. And when you're a toddler, you'll just like dance out of the middle of nowhere, and you don't care what anyone thinks.
Zero inhibition.
And it's important for us to do that. Like a lot of times as an adult, we don't do that unless we've had a lot to drink or, you know,
Are altered
use
in some
substances
form.
or altered in some form, because then we get back to a state where we don't care what anyone thinks. But it's important to, you know, have the dance party in your kitchen and let loose and do these things in order to send that energy, that positive energy, and that just message to everyone around you, but the universe, and like bring joy and gratitude, and more will come back to you. So the more that you send out, the more
you can receive.
Exactly. And that goes for negative energy too.
Right.
The more negative energy you send out, the more negative energy you'll receive back. So just super inspirational.
I totally believe in all of this, you know, and I know that it's for many, it's very woo-woo, if you will.
Right. And
know?
that's fair.
And that's
know?
okay. But I also think that the more you actually learn about it, you know, and are open to it, I think that the more you can connect and buy into it. Maybe not all of it for everyone. I mean, and that's okay. Everybody has a different level of tolerance to certain things, or an appetite for exposing or inviting those things into their lives, and that's fine. Like, but I do think that there's so much around energy, and like I said, all of us are just big balls of energy, and everything we do and is putting out and taking in, and it's something that I don't know, for the last, I don't know, however many years, something that I've like kind of kept in my mind all the time is protecting my energy. So, who are the energy suckers? Really, you know, like who is taking my energy, sucking the energy, and if I'm feeling depleted and all of that, you know, those types of feelings where it's like, who have I been around? Who am I? What environments or circles am I exposing myself to that I'm feeling drained? You know, there's that saying of like something along the lines of like, show me who your like the closest 5 people or your closest 5 friends are, and I'll tell you something like where your life will end up, or like how, you know, if you're successful versus not, or what, you know, however people define success. Something along those lines of basically you are a product of your environment, right? And the people that you surround yourself with. And I think that is, that goes back to energy, right? So however you want to say it, however you want to make sense of it for yourself is, you know, up to you. But I do, for me, believe that is the product of energy. So if I'm consistently around people that are sucking energy, taking energy, or not in alignment with how I want to move in life, or, you know, are also able to, like, I think that you and I we connect because we dream big, like big. I mean, like huge.
But I love that too, because this weekend it was like, you can attain that. You can dream that way and attain that.
And we've been dreaming huge for years now.
Well, that's what attracted us to each other.
Literally,
we had that same energy of like, I mean, like, it's not a question.
Right.
We will be successful.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do think that over the last few years, as we've continued to move through life, we are seeing things come to fruition. We are seeing the product of that energy, right? Yeah. And I mean, I've even been around people that, you know, when I have said things, big things, and it's like almost they laugh it off, right?
Oh, or I've had people very close to me laugh at me.
Me too.
And I'll just say, that's okay. You know, I'll show you.
Right.
Someday.
Or even almost a fear-based reaction of like, I think that it comes from a loving place, but a place of like, well, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, because what if you're disappointed, or what if, you know, it doesn't happen? And it's like,
true. It's like they're trying to protect us from our own dreams.
I think there's both sides of it. There's the protection piece, but I also think that there are people that just aren't like, you know,
can't dream that big, or are afraid to dream that big.
And so they project that, you know, onto others. But yeah, I do think that, you know, even in the course that we took on manifestation at Miraval, and although it was 50 minutes, you know, it was brief. but very impactful and I think validating in how we have spoke about the future for ourselves collectively, for this podcast, for, all of those things that, speaking it into existence. And
exactly. Like writing down those goals, right? That's what we did in that course was we wrote down our life goals.
As if they happened.
As if they already happened. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's a really big takeaway too, is you express gratitude for the things as if they already happened. Like, I'm so grateful for the such and such amount of money that I made this year, or I'm so grateful for the Bora Bora vacation that I'm taking, or that I took. Yeah.
I also think people are a little bit resistant or hesitant to some of this because it can be looked at as materialistic.
For sure. Yeah.
So how do you
don't
balance that?
Like, it's almost embarrassing,
Yeah.
right? To think about these materialistic things or to think in that way. You know what? I just had to say, fuck it. Like, I don't care. Like, I did care. I was almost hesitant to share that, I watched The Secret and I have the cards that I read every morning from The Secret of and it inspires me to go out and do my very best and to dream big and to believe that it's going to happen or that it has happened. And at some point I realized this is my life and this is how I'm going to go through my life with this thought process. And if you don't agree with it, that's okay.
Right.
We're not, this isn't a religion. This isn't,
contrary to what some may think.
Right. This is not God was brought up last weekend a lot. People are still, within their traditional religious mindsets and also practicing this. And so you can feel however you want about it. And that's the great thing about, our country and our lives, and it's okay. It's okay for you not to think that this is right or to think that this is woo-woo or whatever.
If it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work for you.
Exactly. Yeah. But this is just the way that I'm choosing to go forward in my life in order to attain my goals.
And I think that, I like what you said. It's just like, this is what I want. And we've said it, I think, a few times on here is, we like nice things and we shouldn't be
embarrassed for that.
Yes.
Yeah. And
we can still be kind, good people and giving people and gracious people and all of those things and still like nice things. And we work for those nice things.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
None of it has come, as a handout or as an entitled entitlement. You know what I mean? It's
one of
hard
my
work.
biggest intentions is to be very successful so that I can give back and help people who had the same struggles and challenges that I did growing up. And one of the things that I'm working on manifesting is something that I like to call the healing house, where I can have women who need extra help to come and heal. And I have all these amazing women I've met in my life who work with horses and who work with, foster dogs and like energy masseuses and yoga teachers who we're hoping she's on the podcast soon.
Hairdressers. Just
100%. Yes. Yeah. Who can help other women. And I want to be able to provide that environment, that setting in some form of a healing house where women can come and heal, because we are expected to just grind and just put our heads down and grind and no complaints, don't talk about how hard it is. Don't talk about any sort of adversity that you have. Just do it all. And it's impossible.
Right.
It's just impossible. And so if you're having, a breakdown, or if you just need that female energy and that to be surrounded by that, I would love to be able to create a place where women can go and have that. And I don't know how it's going to come about, but it's going to come about.
Right. Yeah. So for this conference, is this something they do annually? What does that look like? Do you know?
I don't know if it's annual. I know that it's all around the country. They go and speak all around the country. They also
Is it the
offer
same group
courses,
of people?
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah. It's pretty consistently the same group of people, minus Gwyneth. I think that was a special add-on. And maybe, here or there, depending on their own schedules.
Sure.
It depends on how, but there's a core group of people that are pretty consistently doing these summits together. They also offer courses online, and it's expensive,
Yeah.
I feel very fortunate that I'm able to do it, and at this point in my life, but yeah, I mean, if you look at it as it's a short-term investment for a long-term reward,
Right.
for sure.
So what practices did you take away from the summit?
So many. Definitely the gratitude for things that have already happened, or that I believe, that I think of as already happening. And just to not be afraid to dream big, and also to continue to send out the energy, the positive energy to others, because it will grow. It will improve my own world and my own life, but also the lives of others who I hope to help, and I hope to help heal and recover from whatever it is that they need. And so it really, I believe, adds to the way I practice clinically too. When I, do things like accelerated resolution therapy, I really try to send out I think in colors. Some people think in different ways, right?
Right.
When you and I did that past life regression, for me, that the color orange was very present. Everything was orange, and that was a female energy, a female color. So when I'm meeting with clients or patients, I try to think in healing colors and energy and stuff like that, and I get good response too from that. Like, people don't understand why they're feeling the way they are, and I don't talk about it. I don't say, like, I'm going all woo-woo on you right now, right? I'm sending you energy or whatever. I'm just sending it and hoping that they're receiving it and healing from it. So, yeah.
With the other speakers, so who were your top speakers that you were like, those have stuck with me? I know you talked about the neuroscience.
Right. So Dr. Joe Dispenza, just Google him. He's amazing. Gwyneth.
He talked a lot about the brain mapping, right? Was that?
Yeah, like the connectivity of our, like the rewiring of our brain.
And there's been a lot of conversation around that because I think for a long time science maybe put out there that wasn't a possibility.
Right.
And so I think that limited people's thought of others' abilities to heal or even heal yourself. And so I love that we're talking about that now.
I do too.
And more people are talking, because it's empowering and provides hope, right? To go that I can rebuild, reshape the connections within my brain. So I don't always have to be in this place, or I don't always have to feel this way, or I don't always, there is another side to this. It just takes consistency and work and practice and doing those exercises to rebuild those connections.
And let's be honest, like, other countries have been practicing this for thousands of years or hundreds of years. I don't know. But, as our country starts to embrace it and support it and accept it, it's very cool to see people learning about it and understanding that, it is real, and we can heal ourselves. We can use our thoughts to live the type of healthy, long lives that we want to.
Right. I've been incredibly fascinated with Dr. Amen and the Amen clinics that they have around. I think there's like 3 or 4 now around the country.
Right. We have one here.
We do have one here. Yeah.
You and I got to tour it.
We did.
Awesome.
It was. I don't even think it had opened yet. Right. When we toured it. Yeah. It was. Grand opening was a couple weeks away. But the work they're doing there, along the lines of being able to, again, give people hope back, I think, through the brain, brain scans and helping people understand and educating them on what is going on in their brains, how to kind of rework that so you're not experiencing the symptoms or behaviors that have been challenging, and then give different alternatives to those alternatives to medicine,
right.
In some, but also the other thing that I took away from there when we toured too is that if medication is also needed, and that that is,
right. Yeah, it's
an
not,
option. It's
not debunking traditional medicine.
Right.
It's just saying, let's try this,
yes,
because it's natural and it's
right,
spiritual or whatever.
Like saffron for depression. That's something, and I want to say, I'm going to butcher this, I'm sure, but I want to say in a podcast or something I was listening to with Dr. Amen saying there's like 25 clinical trials, I believe, that show the effectiveness of saffron in mitigating depressive symptoms.
Yeah, magnesium has great, results with depression and feeling more energy, or feeling more awake,
Okay.
etc., or just kind of calming the nervous system too,
Yeah.
like magnesium baths or taking magnesium. Yeah.
So there's just a lot out there. I think we're just so it's so ingrained in Western culture to go the pharmaceutical route, right. and there are alternatives and so many other options. And now there's research to support those things. It isn't necessarily just woo woo. And I get it. Everyone has a different, approach, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
I totally respect that. But there's a lot out there. And I think, for some people that are just continuing to like grind and bang their head against the wall going, nothing has changed. I would just challenge people to
look into new ways of thinking. And if it's not working for you the way that you've been doing it all this time, give it a try.
Yeah.
It really will change your life and your perspective.
I love that. Well, I'm so grateful that you got to have such an amazing weekend.
Someday you and I will go.
Yeah, and you could share it with us. And I'm excited for that. The weekend we get to go do this, because I think it's incredibly valuable, and I love that it just validates our big dreams. So we'll keep dreaming big. We'll keep dreaming big, and we hope you keep dreaming big as well.
Yes.
So as always, until next time, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Cindy. Thanks for listening.